Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me. I'm still Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com. That's still my email. It is still in the description below. Your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any of our platforms. Please reach out to me directly. I am Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for pricing. In 2019, Bell Ross launched the integrated bracelet BR05 collection, and in 2020 it followed up with this, the BR05 Chronograph. In stainless steel, this watch is 42 millimeters in diameter. It is 12.8 millimeters thick. From lug tip to lug tip, if we're just talking about the case, it's 50 millimeters, and if you measure the first link on each side, which is the rigid distance across the wrist, then it is 53 millimeters across the wrist. The watch is substantial. On my wrist, which is 16 centimeters circumference, it has presence and it has personality, and frankly, the price is right. The timepiece gives you a window into the world of Bell & Ross with its instrument-style calibration, and then also a piece of the ordinarily haute horlogerie and prohibitively priced integrated bracelet sports watch class. Now, I wouldn't wear it on a wrist smaller than 15 centimeters circumference because it is large and it is rather sheer in profile, so while it's not actually that thick, it does look blocky. Being under 13 millimeters thick with sloped and stepped case flanks, believe it or not, it will slide underneath a dress cuff, but a sports jacket is a safe bet in all cases. I'd recommend it for a wrist of 15 centimeters circumference or larger. One more look at the cuff shot, one over the top, which always exaggerates the width of the watch, keep that in mind, and then one more time down the barrel. The bracelet is attractive and substantial. G&F Chatelain, which is a fine case maker, bracelet maker, and clasp manufacturer, is, like Bell & Ross, Romain Gaultier, and F.P. Journe, part of the Chanel family of companies. Now, Gaultier and Journe are in part owned, but Bell & Ross is very closely tied to the Chanel companies. So Chatelain makes incredible cases, clasps, and bracelets, so you're getting examples from the absolute best when you buy this watch. It is integrated. You can see the bracelet flows from the swell of the case flank into the lugs down through steps that taper towards a double deployant clasp with a twin trigger action. It is a sequential close with one side closing before the other. The ampersand with media blast and polish goes down second. Because it is thick gauge steel, it's durable, and because it is a twin trigger release, it can't open inadvertently. Now, something you often see on more affordable bracelets is individual removable links fixed by pin sleeves, but what you get here is removable links fixed by screws, which is the big boy upscale and premium way to do it. Now, if you look carefully, you can see there's an intermediate sized link on each side. So if you find yourself in between sizes, then you can use that intermediate link on either side if you find that the standard size links don't quite give you the right fit. In profile, you can see vertical satination. Along the top, we have longitudinal satination with tapered and polished intermediate links. The case itself features a binding of bracelet and lug that's fixed by screws and bars, which is what you would expect on a more expensive watch. It's the upscale way of putting a bracelet together with a case, because unlike spring bars, there's very little danger of these backing out or popping out, so this is more secure and it's the right way to do it. You can also see that the crown guards are fixed by screws and replaceable in case they get gouged. Once again, we have the ampersand of Bell & Ross on the crown, media blast and polish right there, polished and rounded rectangular chronograph pushers. I mentioned that Chanel is quite well integrated with Bell & Ross, and the French origins of both are worth mentioning, as Bell & Ross, though manufacturing in Switzerland, was actually founded in France as a Parisian company. So we have that wonderful French charm to the watch. Now, we also have a stolid sobriety that I would actually pin on the Germans, but in fact, the look of the instrument-style dial comes first from the Bell & Ross instrument watches, designed to resemble the flight deck gear of analog 20th century aircraft. Back in 2005, Bell & Ross launched the first BR01, and it became a serial success for the company. So while this is externally very much an integrated bracelet sports watch, on the dial, we go back to the company's breadwinner, which is the instrument watch and the instrument style dial. Upscale, though, as you can see here, we have applique numerals. Note the numerals are vertically satinated, and then we have these polished baton style applique indices with sunken two-tone subregisters for running seconds and chronograph minutes. And then we have a chaptering outboard against which you can read the minutes as well as chronograph seconds. There's a date down between 4 and 5. Let's take a look at the loom. No shortage of loom. And the watch is 100 meters water resistant. Screw the crown out. It is a screw down crown. And you'll note here we have hacking or stop seconds. You can set the watch to a reference time. We also have a quick set date, so you can rapidly cycle the date should the watch run down or encounter an irregular length month. Around the back of the watch, we actually have a display case back and a movement that's interesting to look at. We have a skeletonized rotor that is full circumferential. The mass is on one side, but you can see underneath there we have a ETA 2894, which is the modular chronograph version of the 2892. I'll try to slow that balance down so you can see for a moment that the watch features a handsome degree of finishing. It's machine applied to be sure, but the bridges feature perlage. The screws are a combination of blued and polished. The rotor itself has both media blast and satination. The edges of the bridges feature a detailed snelling. It is quite attractive. Beats at 4 Hertz, winds bidirectionally, gives you a 40 to 42 hour power reserve, stop seconds, a quick set date, and I should mention this 37 joule movement features a vertical clutch chronograph module. A 2894 is a modular chronograph, which is why if you look carefully, you can see that the center line of the crown is a little bit lower than the center line of the chronograph pushers because the chronograph module is lowered atop the base caliber. Because of the use of a vertical clutch, the engagement of the chronograph seconds hand has no jump or stagger, so it's a very smooth, seamless engagement, unlike a more traditional lateral clutch. So there's a lot to like on this watch. The design, the price, the tech specs, the durability, surprise and delight features like the quality of the bracelet and the clasp all augur for a long and satisfying life on your wrist. Will you take the plunge? Reach out to me. I am Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.